Today, we're breaking down the most affordable Rolex watches worth buying right now and why these pieces continue to be the smartest entry points into the world of the crown. Time to get into it. When people think of Rolex, they often imagine heavy hitters like the Submariner, Daytona, or Yacht-Master 2, watches that are near impossible to buy at retail and command eye-watering premiums on the secondary market. But Rolex is a much larger universe than just those icons. If you know where to look, there are models that keep all of Rolex's quality, reliability, and prestige, while sitting at the very bottom of the brand's pricing ladder. The most accessible in 2025 remains the Rolex Oyster Perpetual. This watch is Rolex at its purest. No date complication, no rotating bezel, no frills. Just a three-hand timepiece executed to perfection. Its clean dial layout, precision finishing, and rock-solid oyster case make it one of the most versatile Rolex models ever made. Available in sizes from 28mm to 41mm. It works for both men and women, and the range of dial colors makes it especially appealing to collectors who want personality on their wrist. The bright turquoise and coral red dials became instant cult classics when introduced, and although Rolex has since discontinued some of the hottest colors, they continue to trade at huge premiums on the secondary market. For standard colors like black, silver, and blue though, you can still find them close to retail, around $6,000 to $6,400, making this the cheapest Rolex in current production. It's the purest distillation of the brand, and for many, the perfect entry point. Next is the Rolex Air King, a model that has often been misunderstood but has found its stride in recent years. The Air King started life in the 1940s as one of Rolex's most affordable aviation-inspired watches. Today's version keeps that DNA alive with its bold 369 numerals, oversized minute markers, and splash of green and yellow on the dial. Design choices that make it stand out from Rolex's otherwise conservative catalogue. The retail price is $7,450, placing it just above the Oyster Perpetual, and because it's not a watch that commands years-long waitlists, it remains relatively attainable. On the pre-owned market, prices hover close to retail, often between $7,500 and $8,000, making it one of the smartest ways to step into Rolex ownership in 2025. Collectors often say the Air King is one of the most fun Rolex models, quirky, distinctive, and still underrated. Then we have the Rolex Explorer, one of the brand's most historically important tool watches. The Explorer is directly tied to Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay's conquest of Mount Everest in 1953, a feat that cemented Rolex's reputation for toughness and reliability. The modern Explorer has returned to its roots with a 36mm case, faithful to the original proportions. It's a watch that feels understated, yet incredibly capable, with a matte black dial, bold 369 numerals, and luminous indices designed for legibility in the harshest environments. Retail pricing starts at $7,700, and unlike the Submariner or Yacht-Master 2, Explorer models can sometimes be found with only short waits at authorized dealers. On the secondary market, prices sit close to retail, making it one of the best value Rolex sports watches today. Collectors often describe the Explorer as the thinking man's Rolex, not flashy, but timeless, versatile, and built for real adventure. Another key option is the Rolex Datejust, which, despite being one of the most recognized models in the catalogue, remains surprisingly attainable depending on configuration. Introduced in 1945, the Datejust was the first automatic wristwatch to feature an instantly changing date display, a feature that has since become standard across the industry. Today, the entry-level stainless steel versions with smooth bezels and oyster bracelets start around $8,000, making them one of the cheapest ways to own a Rolex with true icon status. While fluted bezels and Jubilee bracelets push prices higher, the smooth bezel versions remain close to retail on the secondary market. Collectors love the Datejust because it is arguably the most versatile Rolex, formal enough for a suit, casual enough for jeans, and available in countless dial options. It's the Rolex that can be everything to everyone, which is why it has remained in production for nearly 80 years. Finally, in this first half, we can't forget the Rolex Milgauss. Originally created in the 1950s for scientists working in high magnetic environments, the Milgauss is one of the quirkiest Rolex models. It features a unique lightning bolt seconds hand and a green-tinted sapphire crystal, two design elements that make it unlike anything else in Rolex's catalogue. Though Rolex discontinued the Milgauss in 2023, pre-owned examples remain one of the cheapest discontinued sports Rolex watches you can buy today, typically ranging from $9,000 to $10,500, depending on condition and configuration. While not as hyped as the Daytona or Submariner, the Milgauss has a cult following, and many collectors believe its discontinuation will eventually drive values upward. Right now, it represents one of the smartest buys if you want something a little different, with collectability baked in. So there you have the first 5 of the cheapest Rolex watches you can buy in 2025, ranging from the stripped-back purity of the Oyster Perpetual to the quirkiness of the Milgauss. These are models that keep Rolex's prestige intact, without demanding insane premiums. And remember, if you're enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our weekly watch insights. Another model worth serious consideration in 2025 is the Rolex Explorer 2. While the Submariner and Yacht-Master 2 dominate the conversation around Rolex sports watches, the Explorer 2 has always flown just under the radar. That makes it one of the cheapest full-featured tool watches in the lineup. Its fixed 24-hour bezel and bright orange GMT hand allow wearers to track a second time zone, while its robust 42mm Oyster case ensures it can handle anything from mountain climbing to international travel. The white polar dial has become especially beloved among collectors for its crisp, clean look. Retail sits at around $9,650, and on the secondary market, Explorer 2 models often trade between $10,000 and $11,500. Compared to the Yacht-Master 2, which sells for nearly double on the grey market, the Explorer 2 is a bargain. Collectors call it the sleeper Rolex, and many predict values will rise as buyers look for overlooked models with strong heritage. Next, we have the Rolex Yacht-Master, which blends sport and elegance in a way few Rolex watches do. While the Submariner is all about utility, the Yacht-Master leans toward luxury, with its distinctive bi-directional platinum bezel and more refined case lines. The stainless steel and platinum Yacht-Master 40 remains one of the most affordable entries into Rolex's precious metal territory, with pre-owned prices starting around $9,000 to $11,000. That's a remarkable value when you consider the material content and the fact that it delivers a different aesthetic than any other Rolex diver. Collectors often say the Yacht-Master is the Rolex for people who already own a Submariner, and that status keeps demand steady without driving prices into the stratosphere. For buyers seeking something a little more distinctive, the Yacht-Master is one of the smartest ways to get in at the ground level. Another overlooked gem is the Rolex Chronograph, also known as the Thunderbird. Originally launched in the 1950s, it was the first Rolex watch to feature a rotating bezel, years before the Submariner debuted. It served as both a tool and a style piece, and was famously worn by US Air Force pilots, which is where it earned its Thunderbird nickname. Though discontinued, chronographs remain surprisingly affordable in 2025, often trading on the secondary market for $7,000 to $9,000. Collectors love them for their blend of Datejust elegance and sporty utility, and because they're not widely known, they're still undervalued. Many insiders believe the chronograph is primed for rediscovery, which could send prices upward in the coming years. Then we arrive at one of the quirkiest chapters in Rolex history, the Rolex Oyster Quartz. Produced from the late 1970s to the early 2000s, it was Rolex's response to the quartz crisis that shook the Swiss watch industry. The Oyster Quartz is instantly recognizable thanks to its integrated bracelet and sharp angular case design, an aesthetic that was very much of its time and today feels wonderfully retro. Unlike most Rolex watches, which are all about mechanical movements, the Oyster Quartz housed a highly precise quartz caliber with the same level of finishing and durability as Rolex's mechanical offerings. Prices today remain surprisingly low for a Rolex with such historical importance, ranging from $5,500 to $8,500 depending on condition. For collectors who appreciate 1970s design language, the Oyster Quartz offers a rare chance to own something genuinely different from Rolex at a relatively low price point. Finally, we can't ignore the two-tone Rolex Datejust, often overlooked in favor of stainless steel models, but sometimes even cheaper on the secondary market. These stainless steel and yellow gold combinations, particularly in 36mm, Trade hands for as little as $6,500 to $7,500. That makes them some of the cheapest full-metal Rolex watches available today. The irony is that two-tone was once considered the ultimate symbol of luxury in the 1980s and 1990s, but shifting fashion trends pushed them out of favor. Today, however, two-tone is making a comeback, and collectors are starting to embrace them again. A two-tone Datejust offers incredible value: the prestige of gold, the durability of steel, and the instant recognition of one of Rolex's most iconic models. For buyers who want the most Rolex for the least money, this might be the smartest move you can make in 2025. So there you have it, the full rundown of the 10 cheapest Rolex watches you can buy in 2025. From pure entry-level pieces like the Oyster Perpetual and Air King, to quirky cult classics like the Milgauss and Oyster Quartz, and underrated sports icons like the Explorer II and Yacht-Master. These are the models that let you join the Rolex Club without paying Daytona or Submariner premiums. They're not just affordable, they're some of the smartest buys in the catalogue right now. If you enjoyed this list, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our weekly watch insights. Until next time, stay stylish and stay informed.